Hey guys, we're just at Cameron's place in New Zealand here. We're just looking at his 1957 107 station wagon, and you can see how pristine it looks. It's been polished quite severely, and Cameron's here to say a few words about this nice car that he's had for a couple of years now, and it's one of his favourite. He has got a fire engine in there as well, but this is one that he takes his family around. A really good usable vehicle.
Thanks, Neil. So yeah, 1957, New Zealand new, owned by only really two main owners in its life. One guy had it from 1958 until 1964, then 64 till about 92. Actually, I'm the fourth owner now. Yeah, 92 till a year ago when I bought it. So I'm the fourth owner of it, actually. Yeah, so great machine. It's running a 2.25 Series 2A motor, so very usable. Also has a high ratio transfer box, which means it gets along good 100 k's on the road, making it a very usable machine. And of course, having 10 seats, I can get all my family in it, unlike most of the other Series 1s I have. So yeah, it's a great machine.
Yeah, thanks Cameron. I mean, the thing about cars is make them usable, and being able to take your kids and family out and makes a big difference. This has got that 2.25 engine that Cameron just mentioned, and purrs along 110 on the highway, which is a real bonus. You can see the nice interior here. It's got some original trim at the back. You got elephant hide. This is faded out quite severely. Sounds really sweet, that engine there, Cameron.
Yeah, the guy told me it had been balanced right through to the clutch before when he rebuilt it. And it's the first engine I've ever owned that had been balanced, and it does make such a huge difference if you've never seen it before.
See, Cameron's been collecting up period reading material, which is quite good. See the original first edition, first Overland by Tim.
So these editions of National Geographic period trips through Africa of overland adventures done in the 50s. If I can find where elephants have right of way, this one is called, and you can see in here we're talking about the Series 1s. Yeah, so very cool to have some of these sorts of things.
No, that's good, Cameron. I mean, you've got these lovely display here of the beacon lights that came out period in 57, 58, and very hard to get hold of now. Nice to have the black plates there. Yep, original to New Zealand when they came out. What was the numbers produced of this particular car, Cameron?
I think only 7,000 of them over the lifetime, from 1956 to 1958. I think there's only 7,000. 1957 is the most common year, and this is number 900 and something. 985.
Yeah, it's a really good example, Cameron. You must be really impressed and happy to have a car that you can use every weekend and take the family out with no complaints.
Well, absolutely. That's kind of the point. I mean, the short wheelbase Series 1s are too hard to fit everybody in. You've got young children, and yeah, you can keep up with the traffic with this. You know, sit on 110. You're not holding people up. You're not getting dirty looks. With the polished aluminium look, it certainly turns people's heads a bit different, a bit like an Airstream Caravan in a way.
Well, there's nothing hiding under those guards, no. Which is fantastic.
No. And
it looks a real treat, and it all looks in great order. And it's I hear you're also doing a 1948, 49 up, which is going to keep you busy.
Yes, 1949. So that's the next project.
I see you've also got a fire engine in there, which
Yes,
is
have a look.
another project. Hopefully we can get round here. By the way, this is Cameron's very first car, and it's a MG GT. So this is what he's been working on just recently. It's a New Zealand Fire Service fire engine, and he's swapped it for a few parts, and he's very wrapped with that, and he's got another friend in the garage that he can actually do some work on.
Exactly, yeah. So 1954 factory fire engine, one of a batch of about 9 that came into New Zealand at that time, and still registered, or registered on registration on hold. Got a number of rust issues that need addressing in the firewall, but we've sourced a firewall and tidied that up, so that's a job to do. Rebuilding the front end at the moment, and going to be rebuilding the back end next, and take it for a warrant of fitness.
You can see the bulkhead's been toasted, but like all his Series 1s, they weren't that good at staying alive too long. But it looks in very good order. Other than that, a very original vehicle.
Yeah, you can tell a lot about a person by the way their tools are looked after. And I'm not proud of the way mine are looked after.
That's your creativeness. It's called creativity.
Yeah.
Yep.
No time for tidiness.
No.
So that spotlight on the top, that's been a bit of a labour of love to find one of those. The original, all the New Zealand fire engines tended to have those. I had to get that one in pieces from the UK to replace the original. That's not the original siren, unfortunately. I'm trying to find one of those, or the original flashing lights, but they'll do the job. So that's it.
It's a lovely patina on it, even though it's probably not the original paint, but it's aged paint, which really makes it stand out quite well. You can see the features of the 54 sort of lights.
Original oil cooler. There's other things to note with fire engines, such as an 8-blade fan, different radiator or fan shroud. This is a 52 motor, which has been put in it. Typically these things have very low miles, but actually the engine hours tend to be very high. So this is a 52 motor, which the history I've been able to find on this is that it did a lot of pumping. So they would have wore the motor out basically, even though the mileage is quite low. So typically in New Zealand, these fire engines, 8 to 12, 15,000 miles usually. This one's got 30 on it, assuming that's the original speedo.
It's interesting you say that, Cameron, because I think that fire engines would be a good deal because of the low Ks, but you're exactly right. I mean, it's hours of usage.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, it's a bit of a work in progress in there. I started off doing the brakes and that turned into the front axle. I'm halfway through stripping off the paint off the galvanising, which has all been really well protected by paint actually. Sourced the correct air cleaner for it, 54s. Have an oddball air cleaner arrangement, quite hard to get hold of. So yeah.
Well, thanks, Cameron, for showing us around your little collection. We've got a few more cars in the other sheds, but we won't be seeing those today. Thanks again, Cameron, and hope you have spent many more hours enjoying your 1957 Landrover long wheelbase.
Thanks, Neil. Cheers.